What's good, YouTube? Back with another react, you know what I'm saying? Something from the boy Ty Learn, our most reliable, or our most reliable power scaler, because he doesn't make leaps of logic often. He's human. He can make mistakes too, but he be consistent with the John. This is John Walker actually stronger than Captain America. The thumbnail say yes. It could be clickbait, but I want to get tapped in with his vid because remember we reacted to the other dude who was talking about like reasonable crash outs, and he said John Walker was like, I don't know if he said he's stronger than Cap. But this is a very like talked about like topic, so I just want to dive in and see what they talking about. As always, make sure y'all boys pre-like the video. It don't hurt. Just hit it with a little like. You know what I'm saying? So what's some love? Discord Con is linked in the description. Helps you stay notified whenever I go live, whenever I post on YouTube. As always, make sure y'all boys join that Discord Con, bro. I'm just saying. And as always, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitch. Stay notified every time I post a video. Make sure y'all boys drink y'all some water, get y'all some sleep, and get y'all some sunlight. And yeah, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you pop back in. Without further ado, 24 hours, 3 good deeds. Let's get straight into this video.
After the release of Thunderbolts and the rise of the notorious Walk 'em Down Walker, a lot of people have been comparing him to our original Captain America, Steve Rogers. And the memes have already been dropping all across TikTok saying, ain't no way John Walker's stronger than the original, right? But when looking at every single piece of evidence,
people are saying he's stronger because he was peak human before he took the serum while Steve was scrawny. It's like the most like kind of credible argument I've seen. Let's see what Todd talks
people
about,
use to substantiate Steve, you'll come to realize that it's actually a lot harder to argue for Rogers than it is for Walker. Let me explain. The first point in this debate usually comes from this feat right here. Not only is it possible
for Steve, I got helicopter, I mean you can't quantify this, but we got helicopter, we got the Thanos catch in hand joint, which you also can't really quantify unless you like start glazing and going, well, if he was using the Power Stone, which is you know, but there's that. That's about it in terms of like off top of my dome.
Possibly Steve's greatest feat of strength without the use of his shield, but it is one of the most moving moments in the entire MCU. The specific helicopter Steve was able to hold was an Airbus AS350. The maximum weight takeoff for this aircraft is roughly 5,000 pounds. A lot of you will probably say that Walker has never done anything as impressive as this, but he actually has. In the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, we see him quite literally fighting off other super soldiers, and he was still able to lift a falling NYPD SWAT truck. Mind you, on average, these trucks range from like 16,500 pounds to 17,550 pounds. For comparison, this is literally over 3 times stronger than Rogers' apparent best feat. It's consistent as well because before either one even took the serum, Steve was a scrawny Teen Titans Go Robin built individual. He was considered a liability and he was not worthy for the serum at all. While Walker, even before taking the serum, was already considered borderline superhuman and was kind of fighting super soldiers, but not really. But it wasn't until after he took the serum where he just became a straight demon. And an easy way to compare the two is using Bucky as a measuring stick, as both fighters have combated him in the past. However, there is a key difference between the fight with Walker and Bucky and Falcon and Cap and Bucky. You see, Cap with his shield is pretty much evenly matched with the Winter Soldier using his initial metal arm. Physically, Bucky is superior to Cap, it's just the shield that really helps him close that tiny gap. And even then, we've seen Bucky catch straight throws from Cap with his shield. Bucky then goes on to get a Wakandan vibranium arm, which makes him even stronger than before, confirmed in Infinity War. And when he and Falcon engage against Walker in an all-out brawl where he attempts to do the same thing
I think narrative's important too. I mean, I don't think he's wrong. These aren't like bad feats, but narrative is important, and there has to be consistent growth, right? Which outright will put Walker as stronger, but also narratively, Winter Soldier's big bad here, so he has to be stronger than when Winter Soldier's a hero with someone else, when he's a sidekick. You feel me?
He did in Winter Soldier, he fails miserably. It's such a small detail you may miss during your watch on the fight, but this minor detail is some pretty damn good evidence for Walker being superior to Steve. We also see Walker somewhat tank the Widow's Bite compared to base Black Panther, who was stunned for a couple of seconds, and this is the same Black Panther who's making Bucky run away and is stronger than Captain America. So not only pound for pound is Walker hitting harder than Rogers, but in terms of durability or endurance, he should be superior as well. And one little side point that I want to mention before going into the next one, no, Bucky is not weaker than his Winter Soldier self. The best argument I can make for this,
there's no reason he would be weaker. Like I said, I think that alone proves Walker stronger. Also, literally, like, it's supposed to depict that the new generation always grows because what they fight competitively is always going to be stronger. The only, like, it's in the same frame, but the only, like, other thing you can say about it, you can't say Bucky's weaker. He had to have grown stronger, especially with the vibranium on.
This is Bucky being mentally nerfed at the start of the Falcon show, maybe. But by the time he fights Walker, he isn't holding back or pulling his punches to the point where it'd make him significantly weaker. The Winter Soldier as well, I feel, kind of gets misinterpreted a lot. It's not necessarily a bloodlusted version of Bucky, rather one that is being controlled and kills people. However, Bucky has gotten much stronger since this point and isn't held back mentally by his old habits. We also do see a minor visual difference when it comes to Bucky and Winter Soldier strikes, with Bucky clearly having a lot better AoE when it comes to striking the ground in comparison to Winter Soldier trying to punch Steve's head into concrete. You could say this is a visual inconsistency, but from what I've brought up, I think this is some pretty good side evidence to bring the whole argument of Walker over Rogers all together. So pretty much the scaling chain here is Walker is better than Bucky, who should be superior to his Winter Soldier self, who Cap at best is stalemating with. Oh, but Tyler, Steve fought Thanos, and Thanos wasn't holding back. Surely that makes him better than John. Wrong. I'm using scaling that specifically has Walker upscaling from Steve through the characters in the MCU, so theoretically if Walker took Rogers' place in this scene, he'd probably hold Thanos off longer based off what I've already argued in the video. And also, this is not really a feat because Thanos kind of knew by the end of the movie he won and was confirmed to be holding back. He had the Time Stone before this as well, so by this point he knew whatever happened, he could just Uno reverse card out of the situation. So in conclusion, Walker, while casually holding off other characters, has a feat that's 3 times stronger than Rogers' apparent best feat in the series. He overpowers a stronger Bucky while Cap is stalemating with a weaker one, and before taking the serum, Roger was that one Walker that looked like Duck from the Walking Dead games, while Walker was borderline superhuman already. The only thing Roger has over John is just more experience and skill with the shield. However, his skills shouldn't be all that much better than John's, considering even when he fought himself from 10 years ago, he just barely won that. In my opinion, if these two went pound for pound, the US agent is strong enough to catch.
Yeah, that's a good scaling joint because it shows that he hasn't like grown too much within that time. Because most of his experience that he has comes from how old he is and what he did back in the day.
Roger's shield and even use it back at him. And if they engage in close quarters combat, Roger would have the better hands and probably land more blows. But the moment Walker actually lands one decent blow on Roger, it's going to do severe damage to him. And if we give them both the same shield and they both try throwing it at each other, John is,
mind you, like now, the one US agent uses is a different metal, which is heavier.
Is more than likely overpowering Cap's shield out of the way and is probably bisecting Brown. Welcome Down Walker is my Captain America and pretty much the strongest non-Hulk super soldier in the MCU as of currently.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good breakdown. It's excellent breakdowns because I didn't know. I didn't have ball knowledge. I was unaware. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people were using like his feat of like the super jump thing, and like Cap just never had a reason to do that. But yeah, I mean his scaling makes sense. Scaling makes sense. I don't think it's not crazy about that, unless you're saying, oh yeah, Cap has Mjolnir, which we know for a fact that John is not worthy to hold, unless someone got evidence that proves otherwise. He still got some mental stuff he's going through, but yeah, unless we're saying that. He proved the point. I think John is walking Cap. He is Welcome Down Walker. Appreciate you, Ty, for really breaking it down and explaining the video to such details, man. As always, it's great skills when it comes to Ty. That was John Walker, actually stronger than Captain America. Appreciate y'all boys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.